woodworking started when I was 7-year old, and my dad helped us to make a boat. And my dad was very practical. He liked to work with wood. And then when I was about 14, I went into woodwork lessons with Mr. Walker, and Mr. Walker was very, very influential in the work that I did. In fact, I've got a piece here, and that was a piece that I turned when I was 14-year-old, and it was made up of just pieces of wood glued together and then turned on a lathe very roughly, but it stood the test of time, and I'm coming up 57 now, so it's still done well for its time. My mother had it for many years, and now I have it for demonstrating and teaching to show students what can be done at an early age. Well, I served my time as a joiner, and when I came out of my time, I was very fortunate. I got the opportunity to teach some nice night classes at New College Durham, and I was there teaching night classes for around about 6 months, and then I got a full-time job, and then I spent 26 years teaching apprentices through colleges and some training establishments before I moved into the wood turning side, which initially started as a hobby 15 years ago, but after 3 years I realised I wanted to make it into a career. I think wood, it's very tactile. It's, especially when you work with it in the wet state, you can manipulate it, you can bend it into shape and what have you. I can show you another one here. This is a larger hat. This is a full-size hat. This one I wear actually, and you can see that the brim bends up nicely on there, and weighs around about 9 ounces, 150 grams, 200 grams. So it's the same weight as a normal hat. And I think with the blues bowls, making them from wood in the style that you want to design yourself and then being able to play them is just an added bonus. Wood turning is a method of taking a piece of stock, either a branch or a square section. I've got a square section here for example, and that piece of stock you will take and put onto a lathe. The wood will spin round on the lathe and you'll produce a tool to the edge of the material on a tool rest. And in fact it's a machine that's in a workshop. It's probably the safest machine in a workshop, because every woodworking machine, with the exception of the lathe, has a cutting edge that's revolving and you feed the wood to it, whereas this, you're in charge of the cutting edge and you feed the edge to the wood. It turns it into a cylinder from a square, so you get a cylinder like that from a square piece of wood. Then you can either hollow it out into a bowl, or in the case of the little hats that I do, I can turn it down into a hat. This is basically a bowl with a brim, and it's turned from a wet piece of material and bent on a bending jig to get the brim to bend. And this one's had some pyrography. A friend of mine who does artwork with pyrography has done this for me in a fishing scene, because that's another hobby that I have, which is fishing.
On down to San Antone. When I was a baby, my mama told me, son, always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns. But I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. I bet there's rich folks eating in a fancy dining car. They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars. But I knew I had it coming, I know I can't be free. But those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me.
Teaching apprentices more so when I first started, because we had groups of around about 8 to 12. By the time I finished, the group sizes increased so much that you were teaching groups of maybe 24 to 30 students. And really that number of students, you don't teach them, you end up just making sure that they don't have an accident. And I wanted to come into teaching again and work with people who, small groups of people who really wanted to learn, so that was why I decided to take the opportunity to start and teach people privately, and I've done it now for 12 years.
is all I can use. She rolled on me one sideline, told me she's no longer mine.
I do a lot of mainstream wood turning, which is your spindles, your bowls, your goblets, your boxes, but I've specialised in the hats, and now I've specialised in musical instruments that I call blues bowls. The blues bowls, I was inspired after watching a programme. It was it would be 2016. I watched a programme with Jules Holland, and on it was a guy called C6 Steve, and he was playing what was called a cigar box guitar. And the cigar box guitar had 3 strings, and I thought, well, I wonder if I could do a bowl and a neck on the lathe, combine the two together, put 3 strings on them and play it like a 3-string cigar box guitar. I did, and to the best of my knowledge, I don't know of anybody else who's making them. I didn't make them to sell them, I made them to sell the training, because what I want is for people to come along, turn a bowl, turn a spindle, put the two of them together, put 3 strings on it, and then have a go at playing. And it's fun. I've got 2 students that were interested in making the blues bowls, and they made the blues bowls, and then we get together on a Tuesday night. We call ourselves the Wooden Tops, or at least my wife called us the Wooden Tops, and we have a bit of fun. With a view to demonstrating at Harrogate Show. Harrogate Show has a woodworking show every year, and we thought we would write a song called the Harrogate Show song, and we used the verses to be able to talk about different people that did the show and had done over the years. But our main focus for it was to ask for a donation. We had 50 CDs to ask for a donation from people for a CD, and we used it to raise some funds for Help the Heroes, H4H, and the blind veterans, because I have 2 students. One is a veteran, and the other one is a veteran who's blind, so he actually has had funding from the blind veterans to teach.
Let me tell you a story about a tenor that you might know. He comes from a village near called Billy Earl. Some say he's wacky, and yes, it has been said, 'cause he turns lumps of wood, then he sticks them on top of his head. And there's Mick Hanbury, well, he's here to entertain you. With Joe Saunders, paints man, he knows just what to do.
Has created sufficient income to create a happy living, but from a health point of view as well, the stress levels are far less when you're working with less students, and it's just an enjoyable way to earn a living. I think it's because you can actually produce something fairly quickly, and it's very therapeutic. I'll get a lot of students that come here, and it's good for stress management, and the products that you make, they're nice to look at, they're practical, but they're also can be a piece of art as well.
They're probably drinking coffee and smoking big cigars, but I knew I had it coming. I know I can't be free. But those people keep on moving, and that's what tortures me.